What's up, guys? Coming to you today with a full slate of college basketball action here on Saturday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day out there to all those that celebrate. Have a good time out there on Valentine's Day. Hope you guys got a nice reservation staked out for yourselves. I'll give you my favorite picks on the side and over-under on these huge college basketball games here on Saturday. We're going to break down all of the biggest ones. I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock. So as a big thank you to me, and also we've been putting up a lot of winning picks here recently, slam that thumbs up button. I think that at this point, I kind of deserve it. It only takes a tenth of a second and really does a ton to get these videos promoted out there across YouTube. So really appreciate everybody that takes a second to do that. And also get down there and check and see if you are subscribed. It's very easy to check right below the video, see what that subscriber button looks like, and click it if you are new around here. Really helps grow the channel, helps me see the channel is growing. It's a really big metric here on YouTube. So big shout out to everyone who takes that second and subscribes. Also, we've had tons and tons of new subscribers recently. That has felt really, really good. Let's keep that train pointed in the right direction. Also, make sure to get down there in the comments. Let me know anything you want to say about today's games, about my picks, about these videos in general. Ask me any questions you have across the sports world. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I can also reach out to the premium handicappers over there at stumpthespread.com and see if they have anything to say. If I don't have any idea about what's going on, like if it's a hockey question or something like that, I can reach out to them. They're very likely to have something to say about it. Also, definitely make sure you're checking the pinned comment below the video every single day. That's the top comment underneath the video. That's where you'll find my favorite picks each and every single day. And you might want to check back a couple times just in case there are any changes. Now, in terms of a recap, Friday has gone really, really well here out of the gate. Still got a couple games going on, but got off to a great start there with George Washington -2.5. The Revolutionaries pop off with a 19-point win thanks to a decent shooting night and a dominant game on the boards. George Washington's defense was also off the charts in this game. We cashed Cornell -3.5, and it was a total blowout there for the Big Red. They jump out to a 44-27 lead over Princeton, and they shot the lights out from deep and shot 55% from the field overall, so another nice win there for Cornell. We also cashed Mount St. Mary's at -5.5. It was a comfortable 10-point win there for the Mountaineers. They got off to a good start, comfortably getting the win there over one of the worst teams in the nation in Rider, so that one felt like a bit of a gift. We did end up cashing Iona -5.5. The Gales did show why they aren't an elite level team, but they did just enough to get us the cover in this one, thanks to playing well in the first half and not exactly holding on great, but holding on just enough there in the second half. So we'll definitely take it, but Iona, a team we're going to be approaching with some caution. Now, we still have the potential to have a perfect 6-0 day to hit a sweep in this one. We've got Wisconsin, +1.5 is our dog of the day. They're currently up by 20 points there with 2.5 minutes left in the second half over Michigan State. So that one is looking very, very good. We also have Miami of Ohio there on the money line as our massive lock of the day. They are up by 9, almost going into halftime there in their game. So drawing very, very live to come up with a perfect sweep here going into Saturday. So let's hope we can make that happen. A massive and very awesome slate of games here on Saturday in college basketball. So let's go ahead and get after it. Also, we got to shout out the premium picks. Once again, having a massive day out there on Friday, followed up a very, very nice 6-2 day on Thursday, and then going 4-1 there on Friday. Very, very good stuff. Definitely check out the premium picks. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's dive in. First up, we got a barn burner, one of the biggest games of the day. We got the number 20 Clemson Tigers going on the road, taking the number 4 Duke Blue Devils. Clemson comes into this game ranked number 20 in the nation. They are 20-5 on the season. They're 10-2 in ACC play, so only a single game back of Duke and tied with Virginia. They're very close to the top of the ACC. They are coming off a loss, though. The Tigers played a really rocky home game there against Virginia Tech, eventually losing that one 76-66, potentially falling victim to the look-ahead spot. That is a tough look-ahead spot. You got Duke on deck, one of your biggest games, maybe really your biggest game of the season, aside from like tournament games or whatever. And yeah, they just were not that locked in. This team does not really have a dominant go-get-you-a-bucket kind of guy on the roster. I mean, RJ Godfrey leads the team with 12 points a game, shooting 65% from the field. That's great, but no dominant leading scorer. They do play excellent defense. Their offensive numbers are okay. Their defensive numbers are great, and their rebounding numbers are okay. So we'll see what they can do here on the road, playing in one of the most hostile environments in sports, taking on the Duke Blue Devils, who are on top of the ACC. They're ranked number 4 in the nation. They're 22-2 overall. They lost at UNC, a huge collapse from Duke there in the second half. Then they followed it up with a road win at Pitt, but they only win that game by 16, not able to cover those 16.5 points. So not really the massive blowout bounce back game we were kind of expecting to see there from Duke. Obviously, Cameron Boozer has been one of the best players in college basketball this season. 23 points, 58% from the field, 4 assists, excellent shooting numbers. He's been very, very good. Duke is a dominant rebounding team. They're excellent on defense, giving up only 63.5 points per game. Their offensive numbers are fantastic. They've done really well against ranked opponents in general this season. They knocked off Louisville. They knocked off SMU. They beat Louisville again. They did lose to Texas Tech, but beat Florida, Michigan State, and Arkansas, and Kansas. This has clearly been one of the best teams in the nation. The odds makers very much agree with that. That's why Duke is 12.5-point favorites at home in this game. We've got a total of only 133.5. Clemson is 6-1 against the spread on the road this year, 15-9 to the under. Duke is 5-6 against the spread at home, 17-7 to the under. In a situation where we have to consider the under just based on these trends, more than double-digit points is just too many to pass up. We have to very strongly consider the Clemson Tigers getting those 12.5 points here playing on the road. I'm sure you're seeing this Duke hat and expecting me to take Duke. Well, we will not be taking Duke in this game. I feel like Clemson might even be slightly live on the money line, but we will definitely be considering the Tigers here getting 12.5 as our dog of the day. Next on the docket, we're looking at the TCU Horned Frogs going on the road to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys out there in the Big 12. Now, TCU, they're 15-9 on the season, 5-6 in conference play. They have won 2 in a row. They're coming off a massive 62-55 win over then number 5 Iowa State. So well played there. They blew out Kansas State the game before, but the game for that they lost to Colorado, and the game for that they lost to Houston. So they've been a little bit all over the place. We'll see what they can do here, see if they can avoid the letdown spot against Oklahoma State team that they only beat by 3 earlier in the season. So we'll see how this one goes. David Punch is a monster leading this team. 14 points per game, 53% from the field is good. Maybe monster is a little bit strong. Their offensive numbers are fine. Their defensive numbers aren't amazing, and they're not a very good rebounding team. So we'll see what that leads them to here at Oklahoma State. The Cowboys 4-7 in conference play, 16-8 overall. They have taken a significant step forward after being a terrible, terrible team last year. They're going off back-to-back losses, losing to Arizona. That makes a lot of sense. Going on the road to Arizona State and losing that one 85-76. That's not exactly a great look. Now they got to take on that TCU team that they lost to on the road earlier this season. The Cowboys have been good. 17, 18 points a game from Anthony Roy. They've got a decent starting point guard. They've got a decent center. They're in the top 100 in the nation rebounding, which might help in this game. Their defensive numbers, though, are not great. So we'll see what they can do here. They are at home, so that does help a little bit. In their loss to TCU earlier this season, the rebounding numbers were fairly even, slightly in favor of TCU. The free throw numbers were very, very even. In this game, Oklahoma State are 2-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 155.5. TCU is 3-2 against the spread on the road, 13-11 to the under. Oklahoma State is 6-9 against the spread at home, 13-11 to the under themselves. TCU has a trip to UCF on deck. Oklahoma State has Kansas on deck. So it is a look-ahead spot for Oklahoma State, but we're still going to lean just slightly towards the Cowboys here playing at home. They do have a decent home court advantage, and this is a big revenge spot for them. Maybe they're a little bit more desperate than TCU, but this game will not make the pinned comment. Next up, guys, in another one of the biggest games of the day, we get the number 9 Kansas Jayhawks going on the road to take on the number 5 Iowa State Cyclones. Now, Kansas, they're currently 9th in the nation. All the news is saying that Peterson is good to go for this game. I expect to see him, pretty much available for the entire game. The Jayhawks are coming off their biggest win of the season. They took down number 1 Arizona, 82-78. A massive, massive win that they got without Peterson. So well played. They've already obliterated Iowa State once this year, winning that game 84-63. So we'll see what they can do in this one. That was a very, very impressive win that kind of sparked their current 8-game winning streak. They're up to 9-2 in conference play, really drawing live still to be one of the top teams, maybe finish atop the Big 12 standings. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, this is an elite level team. Their rebounding and defensive numbers are great. The offense can come and go at times, and we'll see what happens here playing on the road. Now, Iowa State, the Cyclones, 21-3 on the season. They're fresh off a tough loss at TCU. Maybe they fell victim to the look-ahead spot here with Kentucky. Yeah, Kansas on deck. They also have Houston and then BYU coming up after that. So a very, very tough stretch of games here for the Cyclones. This team has been very good offensively this season. 32nd in the nation, putting up 85 per game. Their defensive numbers are very, very good. Their rebounding numbers are fine. I'm not too worried about that. In that game at Kansas, they just didn't feel like they could do anything right. They got blown off the court in the first half. They shot 33% from 3, which doesn't look terrible. They actually kept things even on the boards, but they just got into too big of a hole. They shoot only 37% from the field. That's just not going to work. So it's a massive revenge spot for them. The Cyclones are 7.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 144.5. Kansas is 4-3 against the spread on the road, 16-8 to the under. Iowa State, they're 6-1 against the spread at home, 13-11 to the under. Once again, guys, we've got trends pointing towards the under. Not a huge total here. I wouldn't blame anyone for potentially looking at under in this one, but better than that, I'm going to take the red hot Kansas Jayhawks getting those 7.5 points in a game I think is going to come down to the absolute last possession. I think this is going to be a very, very close game down the stretch. I think we'll see the Jayhawks keep it close enough. 7.5 points is a lot. I think this also has potential to be our dog of the day. Guys, before I break down the Northwestern Wildcats heading to Nebraska to take on the Cornhuskers and the rest of this college basketball slate, we got to shout out the sponsor today in every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Guys, right now our premium members are getting daily NBA, NHL, UFC, and college basketball picks. Now, obviously, NHL is on a break for the Olympics. NBA is on the All-Star break. So the bread and butter right now there in the premium section is college basketball, and it has been on a very hot run over the last couple of days. There on February 12th, we did go 2-0 on the last day of the NBA season leading up to the All-Star break, but we also went 4-2 on the college basketball plays. And then yesterday, guys, on Friday the 13th, not a lot of bad luck for us there. Niagara did lose, but George Washington, Cornell, Iona, and Mount St. Mary's all came through, so a very, very nice 4-1 day over there for the premium members at StumpTheSpread.com. You definitely got to get over there and check out those premium plays, guys. They're not always going to match what we see here from me in the videos. We have a team of experienced cappers over there, all of them putting in a ton of work every single day to bring you the best possible sports betting information they can. A crazy amount of data points getting taken into consideration on those premium picks. And sometimes these videos come out way before the premium picks come out, so we could be on something totally different in the video just because we didn't have all the information available that those guys have available to them. So definitely consider signing up for a premium package over there at StumpTheSpread.com. All the premium packages are marked down right now because there's only one major sport going on at the moment. But don't worry, when NBA starts back up, it's not like you suffer any sort of penalty. You still get access to all the sports. Just if you jump in now, you get it at a discount. So definitely consider signing up for a premium membership there at StumpTheSpread.com. But also get over there and check out all the free stuff we offer. There are free picks every single day under the free picks tab. There are also the maybe best free information that we can give to you is that free email newsletter. There will be free picks for all the major sports in there, like NBA, college basketball, UFC, NHL, all that kind of stuff. But also all the niche sports are covered. There's a huge NASCAR write-up coming out. I think the Daytona 500 or something is this weekend. Huge value can be found on NASCAR. I never thought about it once in my life until meeting the premium NASCAR guy over there at StumpTheSpread.com, and he just there's value. There's value in those NASCAR streets. Also, huge write-ups on golf, WNBA, UFC, tennis, golf, anything you can imagine. And there's just a wealth of information in those write-ups. You've been seeing on the screen how all the golf write-ups have done here in the early part of the season. There's more that I'm updating right now that have they're going into the last day here, going into Saturday, the last 2 days of the tournament, going into Saturday and Sunday. Some big sweats. So definitely get on that free email newsletter, guys. It's a fantastic resource. All they ask you for is your name and your email address to set up a free account over there at StumpTheSpread.com, and that's how you get on the email list. If you're having trouble getting the emails, check your spam folder. Often that can be the issue. You also got to get over there to StumpTheSpread.com if you're looking to pick up a Stump the Spread hoodie. They're right there for sale under the shop tab. We are selling them at cost, $39.99 for a hoodie, and that includes free shipping, getting that hoodie to you in as little as 7 days. So check that out if you're interested. And also, if you're a huge fan, click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get their name up on screen in every single video, but maybe most importantly, they get access to our members only giveaways. We give away a Stump the Spread hoodie here every single solitary Monday, and the more members we get, the more giveaways we're going to do. I think we're at around 112, 114 members. If we get it up to 125 members, we're going to do 2 giveaways every single week. The way we do those giveaways, we put the name of every single YouTube channel member on a big wheel. We spin that wheel live on the Monday video, and whoever it lands on gets a Stump the Spread hoodie of their size mailed straight to their address of choice. So love doing those giveaways. Huge shout out to all my channel members. Guys, make sure you've gotten over to StumpTheSpread.com and signed up for the free email newsletter. Check out the free picks and potentially check out a premium membership. Hit that thumbs up button on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let's go ahead and dive back in. A ton of college basketball action on a very exciting Saturday. Next up, we got the Northwestern Wildcats heading to Nebraska to take on the number 7 Cornhuskers. Nebraska comes into this game 10-15 on the season. They're 2-12 in conference play, so it has not been easy. They're coming off an 87-75 loss there against number 2 Michigan. So honestly, like, well played to them to keep that game, pretty competitive. They did get blown out by 19 against Nebraska earlier this season, and that was a road game a home game for the Wildcats, a road game for Nebraska. So we'll see if they've got a bounce back in them. Nick Martinelli's obviously been a monster this season, 22.5 points per game, shooting over 50% from the field. Very, very respectable. The problem is the Wildcats do not rebound. Their defensive numbers aren't great either, and it's not like this team is just going to outscore elite opponents. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Cornhuskers. Nebraska, 21-3 on the season, 10-3 in Big Ten play. They're coming off a loss, a tough 80-77 loss there against number 13 Purdue. They've struggled against the absolute top tier teams, but other than that, they've been really good. I mean, losing by 3 to Michigan, by 9 to Illinois, and then by 3 against Purdue, not exactly a terrible look. So we'll see, if they've got a bounce back in them. Price Sandford's been a monster this year. This team is very, very good defensively. The rebounding numbers and the offensive numbers aren't necessarily in the top tier, so we'll see what they can do in this matchup. They're 13.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 144.5. Northwestern is 3-4-1 against the spread on the road, 13-11-1 to the over. Nebraska is 5-8-1 against the spread at home, 16-8 to the under. Not really a look-ahead spot here for Nebraska. They've got Iowa on deck. Northwestern has Maryland on deck, so not a look-ahead spot for either team. I am going to lean just slightly towards the Cornhuskers here at home. That's a lot of points to cover. Maybe they can do it if they lock in defensively and they're making their shots, and they are playing at home against a team they've already beaten. So we'll see what happens. I do think Northwestern might be the more desperate team, and that might keep this out of the pinned comment. Next up, guys, a little bit off the beaten path. We're looking at the Conference USA matchup between the Liberty Flames and the UTEP Miners. Now, Liberty, they've been a dominant team this year. They're 13-0 in conference play. They're 21-3 overall. Not like they played the toughest non-conference schedule, but they've been really taking care of business in conference. They're coming off a very, very close loss against the worst team in the conference, against New Mexico State. So we'll see if they can bounce back in this one. Not a terrible travel spot for them necessarily, but they have played back-to-back really, really close games. Barely beating Missouri State there by 3, and then beating, a really bad New Mexico State team by only 2 as well. Brent Decker Jr. is a monster for this squad. Zach Cleveland's a very good point guard. Their rebounding numbers are what's really holding them back. They're a terrible team on the glass, but their defense and, their offensive production as well have been very, very good. They did beat UTEP by 11 points earlier this season. The Miners, they come into this game 10-15 on the season, 6-8 in conference play. They're fresh off back-to-back wins. They beat New Mexico State there by only 3, and then went into Jackson State and won by 5. This team is still pretty bad on the glass, if we're being honest. Their offensive numbers are not on the same level as Liberty, and their defensive numbers aren't that amazing either. That's why they're getting 7.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 138.5. Liberty is 5-4 against the spread on the road, 12-9 to the over. UTEP is 5-5 against the spread at home, 11-10-1 to the under. I mean, Liberty doesn't really have a look-at spot in this or anything, but I still like UTEP here getting these points. The Flames are flying a little close to the sun here recently. They're just not blowing out teams, not putting them away. Their defense and rebounding are just not really getting it done. So I will take UTEP here getting 7.5 points. I think this is a pretty good spot to back the underdog at home. Next up, we've got another marquee game, guys. We've got the number 25 Kentucky Wildcats going on the road to taking the number 14 Florida Gators. Now, Kentucky, they're 17-7 on the season, 8-3 in conference play, so only 1 game back of Florida there for the top spot in the SEC. They're coming off 3 straight wins, and the big wins, guys. They took down number 15 Arkansas at Arkansas, winning that one 85-77. They pretty handily took care of Oklahoma, and then they beat then number 25 Tennessee 74-71. So very, very good work there. They have not played Florida this season yet. They'll play them twice. They'll play them now and then at the very end of the regular season. We'll see what they can do here. We've loved what we've seen from this team recently, at least. The defense has been much, much more locked in. The offense is looking good as usual, and the rebounding numbers are looking very, very respectable. So we'll see how they can travel, see what they can do here on the road. Florida, number 14 in the nation, 9-2 in conference play, so right now in the number 1 spot in the SEC. They're winners of 4 in a row, beating South Carolina, a big 100-77 win over Alabama, taking down Texas A&M comfortably, and their last time out, a 20-point blowout at Georgia. So very, very good work. This team has a lot of talent, a lot of scoring. They're one of the most dominant rebounding teams in the nation. I mean, 23rd in the nation offensively as well. Like, a lot to like about the Florida Gators. They obviously haven't played Kentucky yet this year, so we'll see how this matchup looks, once they're actually on the floor against each other. But this squad has been very, very respectable. They're 11.5 point favorites at home. We've got a total of 152.5. Kentucky is only 2-4 against the spread on the road, 13-11 to the under. Florida 5-6 against the spread at home, 15-8-1 to the under. Guys, I just think this is going to be a close game. I don't know if Kentucky's as good as Alabama, so maybe it won't be. Maybe Florida will dominate them, but I just struggle to not take double-digit points in a big spot like this. So give me the Wildcats here, getting 11.5, but I don't know if I have enough faith to put this in the pinned comment. Rolling right along here, we're looking at the Georgia Bulldogs heading to Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. Now, Georgia, they're 17-7 on the season, 5-6 in the SEC. They've had a rough go of it over their last 5 games, losing 4 of them. But when you're losing at Texas, against Tennessee by 1, that loss to Texas A&M got a little ugly. They went into LSU and got a win, and then got blown up by 20 to Florida. So we'll see what they can do here. This is a pretty big game, road spot for them heading to Oklahoma. Jeremiah Wilkinson is a monster. 17 points per game is respectable. The Bulldogs are 8th in the nation total offense, 40th in total rebounding, and they do play some defense. So there's a lot to like here about Georgia as they head to Oklahoma to take on the 12-12 Sooners. Oklahoma only 2-9 in conference play. They're coming off a massive 92-91 win there over Vanderbilt. That was a crazy one. That was a very crazy game. They'll definitely take it. I mean, Brown's been good for this team this year. 16.5 points per game is nice. They're 56th in the nation total offense. Their rebounding numbers aren't terrible. Their defensive numbers are a little bit suspect. I mean, they did give up 94 to Kentucky, so we'll see what they can do in this matchup. The odds makers have them as actually favorites in this game, 1.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 165.5. Georgia is 4-2 against the spread on the road this year, 13-11 to the under. Oklahoma is 4-8 against the spread at home, 12-12 to the over-under. No play on the total in this one, guys, but I really like Georgia. Take them on the money line, take them getting that 1.5, and I would hop on this one soon because they're probably going to close as favorites here approaching game time. So really like Georgia in this spot. This is definitely a play that will make the pinned comment. Next on the dock, we're headed to the Big 12. We've got the Kansas State Wildcats heading to Houston to take on the number 3 Cougars. Now, Kansas State, they've had a really rough time. Their coach is like ripping the team, saying they don't deserve to be here. That seems a little aggressive. They are only 1-10 in conference play. PJ Haggerty leads the way with 24 points per game, shooting 50% from the field. So I would argue he probably deserves to be there. But when you're getting blown out by 29 by Cincinnati, that is not exactly a good look. So we'll see what this trip to Houston can do for them. I mean, they are in the top 100 nationally in total offense, but the defensive numbers are bad. The offensive numbers are not great. We'll see. Was that a motivational speech, or was that one that's really just going to gut the team? It can get a little sketchy when you're ripping into your squad like that. So we'll see what happens here against the number 3 Houston Cougars. They're 22-2 on the season. They're 10-1 in conference play, so tied with Arizona atop the Big 12. They're fresh off a 66-52 win there at Utah, so not exactly a total blowout. And it is a look-ahead spot here for the Cougars. They have Iowa State on deck. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in this one. Look-ahead spots can get a little bit tricky at times. This Houston team has obviously been amazing. Their defense is off the charts good. They're allowed to play very physical, which certainly helps them. The problem confronting us for Houston in this one is they are 22.5 point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 148.5. Kansas State is 4-3 against the spread on the road, 13-11 to the over. Houston is 8-4 against the spread at home, 14-10 to the under. Houston being 8-4 against the spread at home does make me worried, but 22.5 is an awful lot of points to be laying with Houston being in such a big look-ahead spot. So I will be leaning here towards Kansas State getting all those points. We'll hope that the coach ripping into them like that is inspirational or, motivational instead of, just depressing. But this play, guys, is not going to make the pinned comment. Next on the dock, we got some non-conference action. We got number 24 Louisville going on the road to take on the Baylor Bears. Now, we've liked a lot of what we've seen from Louisville this season. They've been a bit up and down, 8-4 in ACC play, 18-6 overall. They've been in and out of the top 25. They have won 4 straight, though, beating SMU, Notre Dame, winning at Wake Forest, and then taking care of business in a 118-77 blowout over NC State their last time out. Ryan Conwell is a monster, 19 points per game, level we're seeing from him. This team is in the top 20 in the nation total offense. They're in the top 37 in total rebounding, and their defensive numbers are very respectable. Now, they haven't had a great time against top-tier competition, losing to Duke twice and getting blown out by 31 the last time they faced them. They also lost to UVA. They had a tough loss at Stanford. They lost to Tennessee, so they really need to prove it against really good teams. Does Baylor fall into that category? Maybe. The Bears are 13-11 on the season, 3-9 in conference play. So I kind of take back that maybe, although they are coming off back-to-back losses, but they lost by 3 points at Iowa State, and they lost by 5 points against number 22 Baylor, an absolute barn burner of a game. this Baylor team is pretty good. Cameron Carr, 19, 20 points per game, shooting well over 50% from the field. That is a very much elite. They're a good team on the boards. They're a good team offensively. The rebounding numbers are good. The defensive numbers are where I am a little bit concerned, but seeing them, hang right with a team like BYU and right with a team like Iowa State is very, very impressive. They are getting 6.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 163.5. Louisville is only 2-5 against the spread on the road. They're 13-11 to the under. Baylor is 5-8 against the spread at home, 12-11 to the over. This is a tough spot. If Baylor plays the way they played against BYU and against Iowa State, this could potentially be an upset win for the Bears. I will take Baylor getting those 6.5 points here at home. I think it's pretty valuable. Home court advantage, especially in a matchup like this, can mean a lot. Rolling right along here, guys, back to the ACC. We've got the Miami Hurricanes going on the road to taking the NC State Wolfpack. Miami, they are 19-5 on the season, 8-3 in conference play, not getting a lot of attention. They are in a big letdown spot, and they might get some attention after this win, this 75-66 win there over number 11 North Carolina. Now, North Carolina wasn't a big letdown spot for sure. They were coming off that win against Duke. The Hurricanes have not necessarily been a dominant team this year, but Malik Reneau scoring 20 points per game and shooting 56% from the field. Shelton Henderson scoring 15 per game, shooting 60% from the field. They're in the top 40 in the nation total offense. They're a very good team on the boards, and they are an excellent, excellent defensive team. So we'll see what they can do in this matchup. NC State has not necessarily been an easy out this year. They're 9-3 in conference play, 18-7 overall. They're coming off a really, really rough showing there at number 24 Louisville, losing that game 118-77. And this is a bit of a look-ahead spot for them. They do have North Carolina on deck. So we'll see if they're fully locked in for this game. Darian Williams leads this team in scoring, 14 points per game, but not a very efficient shooter. They're 26th in the nation total offense, but what really scares me here for NC State, they are not a good rebounding team, and Miami is excellent on the boards, like very, very good on the glass. So this could end up being a little bit of a tricky situation for the Wolfpack. That being said, they are 6.5 point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 155.5. Miami is 4-2 against the spread on the road. 15-7-1 to the over. NC State is 6-5-1 against the spread at home, 16-9 to the over. So maybe we need to be looking at over 155.5 in this one. I would not fault anybody for playing an over in this game, but better than the total. I like the Hurricanes getting 6.5 points. We're backing a lot of underdogs today. That can maybe be a little bit concerning, but I don't hate it here. I think you could even sprinkle the money line here on the Hurricanes. I think they dominate the boards in this game and probably just come away with a straight up win. We will take the points though, just to be safe. Next on the docket, we got the number 13 Purdue Boilermakers going on the road to taking the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, Purdue, they're 20-4 on the season. They've won 3 in a row, taking down Maryland, Oregon, and then a blowout, well, not a blowout win, obviously a very, very close, but a massive, massive win for them, taking down number 7 Nebraska. Going up against Iowa won't necessarily be easy. They did beat the Hawkeyes earlier this season, winning that game 79-72. So that has to give them a little bit of confidence. They are in a massive look-ahead spot, though. They have Michigan on deck. That's going to be, one of the bigger games on the schedule this season in general for Purdue. The Boilermakers are led by Braden Smith, one of the best point guards in the nation. 15 points, 9 assists per game. Very, very good stuff there. They're 63rd in the nation total offense. The rebounding numbers are good, but not necessarily dominant. And they are a good defensive team. But once again, not necessarily dominant. Their win over Oregon was suspiciously close, winning that one by only 4. Maybe the look-ahead spot angle is a significant problem here for Purdue. And they better not take their foot off the gas because Iowa is a good team. The Hawkeyes are 18-6 overall. They're 8-5 in conference play. They're coming off a tough loss there at Maryland. So they are certainly going to be looking for a bounce back, losing to a team that's 3-10 in conference play. Not what's up. Bennett Stirritz is a monster, 20 points per game, 5 assists as well, shooting over 50% from the field. You don't see that every single day. This team is not very good on the glass. That's where I'm really, really concerned for them in this one. Their defensive numbers are off the chart, but you got to finish those defensive possessions with a rebound. Now, in their matchup against Purdue earlier this season, they were on the road for that one. They were at Purdue. That's not an easy place to play. Iowa shot 48% from 3, and kept things pretty close on the boards, but their defense wasn't great, and we did see Purdue shoot more than double the free throws in that game. So looking at the numbers here, guys, Iowa's getting a 1.5 here at home. We've got a total of 141.5. Purdue is 5-3 against spread on the road, 13-11 to the under. Iowa is 8-6 against the spread at home, 15-9 to the over. I mean, load me up for another underdog, guys. Purdue is in a massive, massive letdown spot here, or not letdown spot, look ahead spot here. And Iowa, they do have Nebraska on deck, so maybe it's a look ahead spot for them too, but I don't think it's as big of one. Give me the Hawkeyes here playing at home. I think they're drawing very, very live in this game. In another big time matchup here on Saturday, we got the number 16 Texas Tech Red Raiders going on the road to take the number 1 Arizona Wildcats. Texas Tech, they are 18-6 on the season, 16th in the nation. They're 8-3 in Big 12 play. They're coming off back-to-back wins, taking down West Virginia and taking down Colorado. That Colorado win was an absolute blowout, so no look-ahead spot for them there. Now they got to go on the road to take on Arizona. The toughest team you can really face is going to be a big test here for JT Toppin, who's been amazing this season. 21.5 points per game, 55% from the field. Christian Anderson has also been a monster. 19 points per game for him. Also, nearly 8 assists. This is a very, very good offensive team. The defensive numbers are decent, not necessarily dominant, and the rebounding is good. They've beaten Houston this season, which is a very, very impressive feat. They did lose by 3 against Kansas. That was their last loss, but they've beaten BYU. They lost to Houston once, beat Houston once. They also knocked off Duke midway through the season. So this squad is for real. They're heading to Arizona to take on the Wildcats, who are still number 1 in the nation, despite taking their first loss of the season, that 82-78 loss at Kansas. Now, that was a tough one. Obviously, Arizona's been like the best team in the nation all season long. They just couldn't come up with enough there in the second half. They shoot 40% from 3. They do a good job having a little edge there on the boards. When you see Kansas shoot, 11 more free throws and the Jayhawks are playing at home, that does kind of tell you something of a story. So we'll see what goes on with Arizona here at home. They're 9.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 156.5. Texas Tech is 3-3 against the spread on the road, 13-11 to the under. Arizona is 6-1 against the spread at home, 13-11 to the over. The Wildcats being nearly double-digit favorites feels like an awful lot to me. I'm going to take the favorites here at home, though. It's such a big bounce-back spot for the Wildcats. I do think they find a way to get the dominant win in this one. Will this play make the pin comment? Absolutely not. I'm very excited to watch this game, but not going to have a huge investment on either side. Next up, guys, we're looking at a little American versus Mountain West action. We got the Memphis Tigers going on the road to take on the Utah State Aggies. Now, Memphis is 12-12 on the season, 7-5 in conference play. Seemed like they were turning things around, winning 2 in a row and 3 of 4 and all that stuff. Well, then they went into Northern Texas and took the 76-69 loss. It turns out this Memphis team just is not very good this season. Their defensive numbers are fine, but they're not very talented offensively. The rebounding isn't great either. They've had some head-scratching losses this year and some that really got out of hand, like getting blown out at Tulsa. So we'll see what they can do here. They are on the road for this game. This game is a legitimate home game for Utah State, I believe. Yeah, so not a great look here for Memphis. The Aggies haven't played the toughest schedule, but they are 12-2 in Mountain West play. They're fresh off of a nice 91-78 win over Fresno State. They did play a weirdly close game at Wyoming and then a 2-point game against New Mexico. So they've had their scares this year. We'll see what they can do in this matchup. Their season-long numbers look good. MJ Collins is a very legitimate leading scorer. Drake Allen is a good point guard. They're 37th in the nation total offense and only giving up 69 points per game. So a lot of good numbers there for Utah State, but they're 14-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 153.5. Memphis is only 2-7 against the spread on the road. They're a 500 over/under team. Utah State is 3-7 against the spread at home. They are 13-10 to the over. 14 is just too much for me in this matchup. I'm not getting super invested in this game. I don't trust Memphis under any circumstances, definitely not playing on the road. I just think 14 is a little bit rich for a Utah State team that hasn't really, faced that many tests this season. So give me Memphis in the points as a small lean. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we've got a big-time SEC showdown. We've got the Auburn Tigers going on the road to taking the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, Auburn is 14-10 on the season. They're 5-6 in conference play. They've lost 3 in a row, but losing at Tennessee, then losing a very close game to Auburn, and then a very competitive game against number 19 Vanderbilt. I'm not going to have a whole lot of bad things to say about that. Keyshawn Hall has been a monster this season. 20 points per game, 46% from the field. This Auburn team has been very good offensively, 35th in the nation in raw scoring. They're 120th in the nation in raw rebounding, so not exactly an off-the-charts number there. And their defense has not necessarily been great. They did beat the crap out of Arkansas earlier this season. That was a home game for Auburn. They won that one 95-73. In this game, no real look-ahead spot here for the Tigers, as they head to Arkansas to take on the number 21 Razorbacks. Arkansas is 9-3 in SEC play. They're only 1 game back of Florida. They're playing really well. They've won their last 2 in a row, winning both road games at Mississippi State and at LSU. Neither one of those games were close, so it seems like they're locked in. I do worry about the look-ahead spot for them here. They play Auburn, and then they got to go on the road to play Alabama. we'll see how that goes. I mean, they got blown out by Auburn at Auburn earlier this season. That has to feel pretty bad. It's a big revenge spot. Arkansas shot 21 free throws. Auburn shot 24, but Auburn also shot the lights out and dominated the glass in that game. So those are some pretty big concerns there for Arkansas, who are not a great rebounding team. Their offensive numbers are off the charts, though. That could help them a little bit here, as they are 7.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 165.5. Auburn is 3-3 against the spread on the road, 14-10 to the over. Arkansas is 9-4 against the spread at home, 12-12 to the over-under. I haven't backed a lot of big favorites here, but I will take Arkansas playing at home in this one. I think they find a way to make it happen. They've been such a dominant team against the spread at home this season. Auburn's been fine. They've also shown they can be good in this matchup, but I think the Razorbacks are more locked in. I do worry about Auburn being, maybe a little bit desperate, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Razorbacks here playing at home. Last but not least, guys, we're looking at the Texas Longhorns going on the road to taking the Missouri Tigers. This is a little bit of a rivalry game, guys. Texas not having a banner year necessarily. They're 15-9 on the season, 6-5 in SEC play. They have played better recently, winning a definite rivalry game there over Oklahoma, taking down South Carolina, and then a 79-68 win their last time out, beating Ole Miss. Dalen Swain is a very solid leading scorer, 17-18 points per game, also around 4 assists while shooting 57% from the field is very legit. The rebounding and offensive numbers for this Texas team are excellent. Those rebounding numbers really seem to travel well for them. And, giving up 74.6 points per game when you're scoring 85.5 is not really the end of the world. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against Mizzou. The Tigers, they come into this game winning 3 in a row, taking down Mississippi State, South Carolina, and then a big 86-85 win at Texas A&M their last time out. So we'll see what they can do here against Texas. Mark Mitchell is a very legitimate leading scorer. They're around 100th in the nation total offense. The rebounding numbers are definitely a concern for me, especially in this matchup, and their defense is really pretty much just on par with what we've seen from Texas this season. The Tigers at home, which they do have a pretty solid home court advantage, are 1.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 153.5. Texas is 5-1 against the spread playing away from home this season. They're 14-9 to the over. Mizzou is 6-8 against the spread at home, 13-10-1 to the over. I think Texas is just too good of a team on the road here. I think they're going to have a good time on the glass. Mizzou has Vanderbilt and then Arkansas on deck, so it's a bit of a look-ahead spot. Texas has LSU and Georgia on deck. So I'm going to go with the Longhorns here, playing on the road. This is a tough road spot, but I think the Longhorns should be up to the challenge. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today. Hit that like button for me, potentially coming off of a sweep here on Friday. Hopefully we can have something close to as good on a Saturday. Good luck with all your bets out there. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Help me make that happen. Share these videos with a friend if they're into sports betting. That can help us pick up a subscriber or two along the way. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Even though it's going to be Valentine's Day and I'm going to be a little bit busy, I will 100% be in those comments. So get in there. And guys, I appreciate you all for watching. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description so you don't miss out on all that good stuff over at stumpthespread.com. The free picks have been amazing. The premium picks have been absolutely on fire, and they're on sale right now, so it's a great time to get in the mix and make sure you're getting in on that free email newsletter. Guys, we'll see you right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.